What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program, I got a fellow DJ on the podcast, Jerry Jarvis of Alpha One Entertainment. We're going to swap stories, to trade some ideas, find out what's going on with Jerry Jarvis of Alpha One Entertainment. Now, because back in 2019, I had a little conversation on this podcast with him in his kitchen, and it was good. We learned a lot about him. Our man from Chicago, now in the Russellville, Pottsville, Arkansas area, making good, doing great things. All right, my goodness, today, and I know I don't usually talk about myself too much, but today, my goodness, it is the wettest day outside here in the central Arkansas area. I spent almost the whole day outside in the rain, getting soaked. You ever had that feeling where you get soaked to the bone, cold? And I kept stepping. I was stepping in puddles, but very lightly. I was trying to find rocks and high points so I wouldn't get my socks wet, because at least one or two movies that I've seen about Vietnam, one of the first things that they tell you when you get in the bush is keep your feet dry, change your socks often. Well, I didn't have an extra pair of socks, so my feet were not dry. They were mostly wet and cold, and I had to get out in this thing. You know, that part of my day job is to get out in the cold rain. And so I came home and I was moist. And I know a lot of people don't like that word, moist, but I was soaked, moist to the bone. So I came in and I took a nice hot shower, and I feel much better now. So I think I'm ready to talk to Mr. Jerry Jarvis with Alpha One Entertainment. Ooh, this week's shows. I do have my one public show, my faithful public show at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yes, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show at the Rab on Friday nights. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open. Oh, my goodness. The menu items on the kitchen are just getting better and better and better. I usually come home with a nice hamburger, but they got gyros, pizzas. Oh, and the thing is, there's brand new management, and they've been just making that kitchen get better and better. The new management that owns the Italian restaurant on 65, just across the street from the movie theater. So if you haven't been there, I encourage you to go there. I need to get over there and check that out. But the food over at the Rab is delish. Oh, they also have a pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money, I encourage you to check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. That's my one public gig, man. And I love it. I like that I have at least one public show a week. So that way I can get out into the public, and anyone can come and check it out and come sing a song. And if you don't want to sing, that's fine. Just come have some drinks and have some food and relax and meet some new people. And if you want to meet some new people, you just come up to me and I'll let them all know who you are. And if you want, for sure, to let them know who you are, you sign up for a karaoke song. I'll shout your name on the microphone, and everybody will know your name by the end of that 3 minutes when you sing a song, because most songs are about 3 minutes, right? So be a star. Come out to the Rab Friday night, Conway, Arkansas, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. All right, that's enough intro. Let's get into it with my man, Jerry Jarvis, Alpha One Entertainment. I got him on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user KeysDAN. Skyping Jerry Jarvis now. The man is a technological wizard. Well, hello, Mr. Wizard.
What's up, man?
Jerry Jarvis, Alpha One Entertainment. Last time we talked was, I don't know if it was March of 2019. We were talking, and every time I said Alpha One Entertainment, you said, represent.
Represent.
And for those, if you've been not listening for the longest time, I'm so happy to have Jerry Jarvis back on, JR, if you will. I'm appreciating the background. All right, let's see. What do I remember from last time? My man from Chicago, or the outside of Chicago, boy makes good, goes out to see the world, gets into the Navy, goes to San Diego, Virginia, somewhere maybe in the Middle East, maybe down in Central America, possibly, if I'm getting any of this right or wrong. Then he finally makes his way to the Russellville area and becomes a Homer Simpson type, maybe safety expert of nuclear devices, possibly. He's got a cool wife and some nice kids that are karate experts, maybe MMA, something like that. All right, good, Jerry Jarvis, man, tell me if any of that rings true.
Man, that was a pretty good memory. Most of it is accurate. I can neither confirm or deny the rest. But
no one tells a Navy man what he can do or what he can't do.
That's correct.
Well, I mean, shoot, we told the life story last time. Now we're catching up. All right, you made your way. You had your Joe job. What is it that's happening that's different now going on with the Alpha One Entertainment business, the DJ business? Is it expanding? Is it becoming something new? Tell me something. The people got to know, Jerry Jarvis.
Yeah, well, I recently dropped the square job. A lot of us, we keep a 9 to 5 just to keep everything running. And, well, not getting any younger, so made the leap.
See, that's something that you did, man. People, all right. My brother really likes this saying, a turtle to get anywhere must stick his neck out. And another one that we used to tell each other was, fortune favors the bold. It's hard to bet on yourself. And that's, this entertainment business, the money can be good. The work's not steady. It's a hustle, to say the least, and to bet on yourself. I remember back in 2004, I gave up all my jobs, Joe jobs, and I stayed. Well, I guess I guess I did have a day job, but it was the radio, so I guess it was DJ adjacent, and worked the radio, worked the DJ stuff, recordings, had my online station, but I didn't have a job that really had insurance. That's the one thing. You give up a Joe job, that's your insurance job. What are you doing, man? I mean, what are you doing, Jerry? Betting on yourself.
I know, right? We've actually been talking about it since 2017, and we decided to make the leap. We've been planning for the last couple of years legitimately so we could save up and do it. And here we are, man. It's interesting.
It's a leap of faith, to say the least. Well, last time we talked, you were doing weddings at least once on the weekends, maybe, and other parties. And let's see if I can remember. The main equipment was Bose. The secondary equipment was JBL. And I remember I was using the Mackeys, and I was just about to get the QSC K12s, which I did. I got the K12s as the main. The Mackeys are my backup. And then I even have some EVs that are usually second or third on the top DJ list as my backup to the backups. So it's good to have the equipment. How are the Bose treating you? And how are the weddings treating you? And how are the parties? I mean, it takes a lot. You're giving up a job that's steady, 9 to 5. You got a paycheck every week, and now you're gonna hustle. You're gonna say, look, my job is now entertaining the people full time. Can Can you do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and maybe take off a Sunday? But maybe not, because that's a good day for kids' birthday parties.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a hustle, and while I have the energy, we're going for it, man. We're looking at least 6 days a week. I'm thinking about taking off Mondays. But yeah, the bows are treating us very well. We're looking to upgrade. We've made several upgrades to the system so far, a lot of it with lighting. We've ventured into the all wireless DMX. They're
All right, due to technology,
man,
you cut out when you said you're all wireless DM what?
DMX.
Okay, that would be the lighting.
Go ahead.
That would be the lighting. You can take care of the lighting wirelessly?
Yes. The lighting's wireless, and we're looking to do the audio as well. Sennheiser makes some really great stuff, so that takes away your XLRs. Plus, when you're doing placement, you can put them anywhere, man.
Yeah, I just picked up a Sennheiser headset mic from Chad. I think he lives close to you, somewhere around there. I think he's getting out of the business, and he said, "Hey, I got this mic, and I like Sennheiser. I like the Yamaha. I like the Shure. I'm using a Shure mic right now for this podcast, and man, it is just, the gear. That's the one thing is you have to keep putting money into the gear, and it has to, I remember last time you said, "Oh, I'm not doing it for the money." Well, now you are doing it for the money. This is your full-time job. You're betting on yourself. And when you say we, who's the we? Do you have an agent, or is this somebody else?
It's my lovely wife, Crystal Jarvis. She's everything, man. She's my muse. She's my manager. She's the creative. She's the reason why I'm doing DJ's business for money anyway. Honestly, it got to the point where I was just DJing at the house, on the free time, and then doing, maybe a buddy's party gig, for free. And she's the one that actually inspired me to become what I am today and where we're going in the future. I owe everything to her, man. Yeah,
last time we did this, I was at your kitchen table. The audio quality wasn't, hopefully this is a lot better using the mics and using the technology that we have today. I was sitting next to you using a lavalier mic, and it was a little buzzy, but man, we got a great story. I got the full sense of your family life and who you are as a person, and I dig you, man. I think you're a good person, and you deserve nothing but good things. I hope that this works out for you. You're betting on yourself. You have the wife, and you said that she was in the other room working, and I failed to ask you what she was doing as working. Does she sell candles or perfume or something like that?
Well, she actually started a business years ago called Crystal Bath Essentials, so it's KBE. She started out with just standard bath bombs, and it progressed into, lotions, potions, everything you need. I use nothing but her products, and now it's grown into a legit business, and she does very well.
Yes, it's a hustle. You're both very driven people, and I remember it was something like that. So bath bombs. Hey, I just took a bath. Today was a very rainy day here in Arkansas, and I spent almost the entire day out driving around Mayflower and South Conway. So I came into my house soaking wet, and I would have loved to have had one of Crystal Jarvis's fine bath bombs in my bath when I came in. And so, yeah, shout out to her. Big ups to her. And I'm sure that's helping to bring in a little income and keep your lifestyle going. Have you been doing more work on your house? Because
yes.
That paint behind you looks fresh. And I see you have a little fish tank. For the people that are listening to the audio version of this, check out the video on the YouTube, because you'll see the lovely face of Jerry Jarvis, but you'll see the background. He's got a fish tank built into the wall. What is that? Or is that a computer?
Oh, that's a fish tank. What? There's real fish in there.
That looks like a computer save screen. And it looks like, but you built that into the wall?
Yeah.
Man, the architecture of your house, it was built in the 30s. It's like a poured concrete or all plaster. No real wood, not too much wood to speak of, right? On the exterior of it.
Right, it's all brick on the exterior, and then the interior is nothing but what they call shiplap, and it's solid as concrete. It's been standing since 1939, and it's solid, man.
That's fantastic, man. Well, so tell me about some of the gigs that you did all last year. Of course, I'm a stalker. I peruse your Alpha One Entertainment Instagram and the. I was waiting for a represent.
Represent.
Yeah, and the Facebook, and you always put out great pictures of your setup and the parties, and that's how we actually advertise. If we had a good photographer, I'm guessing you have Crystal going around taking great pictures of you. I'm just about to take my wife. I just got a Canon Rebel, so I'm about to take the wife to some of my gigs so she could take some glamour shots of me, because all I've been doing is taking selfies with my phone. And that's, one way to advertise your business. And this is something for anybody that's listening, that's in the service industry. Get some pictures of yourself, put them out on your website and in your social media. And that, you're showing that you've done these events before and how you look at these events. You're very professional. You got the lightings that's up, that's going to make you're not only the audio quality that's great, but you're also the visual quality that's great. And you're making the announcements for people. I mean, run me through a typical wedding. And I know all weddings are different, but they're all kind of the same. What is the event timeline for a Jerry Jarvis Alpha One Entertainment wedding?
Well, I tell you, it starts way before the big day. We meet with our clients 2 times in person, if possible, prior to the event, usually months out. We call them consultations. We do the first one where it's a meet and greet. We go over our paperwork. We have a DJ worksheet that lines out a timeline, and then we also have a very important document called the contract. I'm sure you're well aware. And what we do is we'll go over that, we'll address any questions, and it gives us really an opportunity to get to know each other, because people can say one thing, but you also read their body language, and you can really get a good read on them to what they really want. So by the time we make that second consultation, that's when we take care of the necessities. We do the deposit, and we go ahead and sign the contract, and we'll also have our DJ worksheet filled out. And that's where we address any special songs for their milestones. It goes all the way from the ceremony through the end of the reception to the big exit song. We've developed a pretty good plan, and we always strategically place our cake cutting after the first dances. You know why?
Why?
Because of cake smashers. Now, granted, people don't smash cake as much as they used to back in the day, but it still does happen. And what we've noticed is some of our brides, they go in and they get sprayed on makeup, and it costs a lot. Yeah. So you don't want to ruin that first dance photo with a big smear of cake. So that's what we encourage our clients. We say, hey, we'll go ahead and get those first dances out of the way, and then we'll do the cake.
That's very smart. Very, very smart. The cake, bouquet, garter belt, the first dances, the toasts, these are very important things for the photographer and the videographer to have pictures of. And, I guess we work well with others. If there's a wedding planner, we work with the wedding planner. But if there's no wedding planner, we kind of become the day of coordinator. We're behind the scenes telling the photographer, hey, the first dance is coming up. Videographer, hey, I think we're going to do the cake cutting now. And if they don't want to set up the shots, then we're the ones that are supposed to be setting up the shots for the cake. Look at the cake. Don't cut. Cut the cake. Look at the photographer. Look at your bride. Look at each other. Put your cheeks together. You become a part of it. And you were talking about the planning. The more you plan, the better we're going to be for you. That there's no doubt about it. You fill that paper out, from top to bottom. And if you have to, flip the sheet over if there's any specialties. Oh, it's Grandma Molly's birthday. We want to acknowledge her. It's little Jimmy, took his first tooth. Or this is their second wedding, and they have kids from a previous wedding. We want to have the first dance with the children. So the more you plan, that's very important. That's great that you're meeting with the people, getting those planning forms, the music request, that's even secondary. The planning is that first dance, the ceremony stuff. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me if there's anything different that you do, or even if you do the same. Go, Jerry. I want to hear from you.
Well, Dan, you're spot on. Really, the planning is the bulk of it, and really, when you're there for game time, it just flows. And if you do it right, it's seamless. So there may be a little bit of craziness in the background, but we keep that well away from the bride, the groom, their guests, and it just flows real seamless.
Oh, yeah.
When you get a wedding planner or, a coordinator and they show up and they have this sheet and it's time stamped to the minute, a lot of times I laugh. I'm like, hey, man, that's great. We're going to keep the timeline, but we're going to go with the flow. Because, if you have a 5 o'clock ceremony, we have a 15-minute window. They're going to be out there at 5:05, 5:08, maybe 5:12. But we just go with that, and we act like that was part of the plan, and we make sure everything hits. The really cool thing about weddings is it's a different gig, because with parties or anything like that, like even proms, they may have been planning for it for a couple of months, maybe if you're lucky, a year. A lot of our brides, they've been thinking about this since they were a little girl, man. So, you have to really hit the mark and meet those expectations. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you blow them away and you exceed their expectations.
See, you think about these things, and these are important aspects of our job, of this industry, is that we, as the entertainment, we become an extension of the bride and groom, mostly the bride.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you're right. It is, the brides traditionally have had, Barbie dream house with the bridal things. There's been bridal magazines, women's magazines in their vicinity, whether mom or auntie or somebody traditionally. I know that things are changing, times are changing, the flow of people's sexuality, and we can go into that, but we don't have to. But and then we cater to all of that. We cater to each individual's personality. Like I said before, all weddings are the same, but they're all slightly different because the music that you choose, the costuming, and yes, a wedding dress and a wedding suit is a costume. If you want to be in kilt, or maybe you want to dress like a Viking, or maybe you want to be traditional, all in white, and we reflect that. When you go to a wedding, you kind of dress kind of like the groom. You don't want to overdress, but you don't want to underdress. You want to be professional. I mean, tell me, how do you think see it? Absolutely.
Back in the day, I used to have different colored suits so I could match the bridal party. And I've had moms come up to me and they tap me on the back, and I turn around like, oh, I thought you were my son. But here recently, I just kind of went with the old traditional black suit, black tie, white shirt. Just kind of, subtle in the background, but classy. And that's worked out well. And it's a lot easier, to keep track of,
Yeah, you can't go wrong with basic black on black on black. The way I've done it, if I do get the color scheme, I'll try to match my bow tie and my vest to their color scheme. But mostly, I have the black jacket, the black shirt or the white shirt, black pants, You always be professional, and that's for weddings. I've had weddings, brides and grooms that have said, "Oh, you can wear whatever you want. We're casual. You can wear shorts if you want to. It's your wedding. It's a once in a lifetime. It better be a once in a lifetime. It's a once in a lifetime, And a lot of brides, they don't know what to expect and they don't know what to ask. It's nice that you have these planning forms, Jerry Jarvis with Alpha One Entertainment. Say it.
Represent.
Ah, he said it. It's nice. It's nice to do the planning, but you're giving up your job at Nuclear One, man. I'm sure that wasn't an easy thought. Is that where you ended up? You were at Nuclear One. What they say when you told them the news?
Well, it wasn't really too much of a surprise. Been talking about it and planning for it for years, so it is what it is. Without going too far down the rabbit hole, but man, I tell you, I work with some of the best people. They're bright, very caring. And that environment, it's a lot different than, in the entertainment business, of course. And I just was compelled to seek this passion while still somewhat young and have the energy to go forth.
Yeah, you've been doing this since the 80s, early 90s, really going strong. You were somewhat of a musician back in high school, but music has always been your passion, has always been an influence. If you go through your house, if you listen close, you can kind of hear music in the background, but everywhere in the house. And I know I mentioned it on the outro last time. I went to the facilities, and in your restroom, you had a little Altec Lansing, a little speaker. I'm like, there's music everywhere in this place, and it's all about music. You really don't have too much of a television except for the music videos. And I know that we were talking where the early times with music videos where you had to have 2 or 3 VCRs to do the music videos, and then you went to DVDs to do the music videos. And now, my goodness, with being able to buy from a place such as Promo Only, please sponsor me. Please give me some stuff, Promo Only. Okay, please give Jerry Jarvis some stuff too. But you buy your videos from them. You have them on your hard drive. It's not only the audio, which is great quality, but you also put up some video screens, whether it be a projector if there's enough room, or if there's no room, I'll put up a television screen and play music videos as well. I mean, tell me about your setup as it's grown since 2017, 2019 when we talked. How's your setup been growing?
Oh man, we're constantly making improvements. You know how it goes. We switched out our main controller. We stepped away from Pioneer and went towards the Denon Prime series. And it so many features, and it has built-in sound switch, which auto scripts all your DMX. And there's no other way to say it. It is dope.
I like it.
Go ahead.
No, I like the sound of that, man. I'm still using a Pioneer DDJ, and I really appreciate it. I use Virtual DJ. I don't use Serato because the Virtual DJ, to me, it feels like it works the videos a lot better, being able to go crossfade from. But I know Serato just came up with maybe a year ago, or maybe even a little more now that I'm thinking about it, came up with a video version. Nope. But what is your software?
Right now we're running Engine from Denon, and it is superb. We used to run the Pioneer platform with Serato DJ Pro, and you had the video plug-in for it, and you could do a lot of stuff. You could script, you could scroll, lots of transition. It was really cool effects. But now you can link it through StageLink, and it's automatic. It's dope. And with the way the technology's coming, because, like we said, when we first started out back in the late 80s, early 90s, we were running VHS. And all you had was like a little A/B switch. And if you held the buttons just right, you could kind of get a cool transition between A/B channel. But we used to get these M16 cases from the Army Navy surplus and put all our VHS because they would fit perfectly in there. And so you're carrying these big cases. We had these giant Aquastar projectors that weighed 150 pounds with the glass lenses that you had to adjust and calibrate every gig. And now you have a flat panel that's literally less than an inch thick and weighs 20 pounds. And it's just amazing how technology's gone.
It is amazing, man. And if the venue is nice enough to have a big screen that you're allowed to use, you can take over those screens. If they don't have them, we have our own equipment. You know, you're mobile enough to where you could go anywhere with a limited amount of space and put on a Jerry Jarvis Alpha One Entertainment show. You got it.
Represent.
You could do it, you know, and you know, minimal amount of space. But you know, getting away from weddings, and I don't want to get away from weddings since I love them. You know, it's the most important time. I get nervous before every wedding, you know, but I know they're gonna go great because we have planned. But it's not just weddings. You do other types of events as well. I mean, what else are you getting dipping your toes into?
Oh man, well, we do everything. We do everything from your smallest get-together, you know, birthday parties, of course, proms, school dances, you know, Sadie Hawkins, the snowflake dances, private parties, which is cool, corporate events. They can be a lot of fun as well. And last year, some doors opened for us where we actually dipped into live sounds, where we're doing mixing for bands. And I tell you, man, growing up in Illinois, I remember the days of Farm Aid and seeing those Marshall stacks and all those lights and stuff. And I wasn't looking at the bands. I was looking at the guys in the booth. And I'm like, you know what? That's been a dream of mine since I was a little kid, dude.
Yeah, but you're thinking about those big gigs, the ones that take, you know, we talked about it before, the ones that take 2 and 3 days to set up. They're multiple day setups to play, but it's not just those. I've been looking for a roadie since '86. Nobody knows how to set up my equipment the way I want to set it up, and that's the 1900s for you kids out there that are listening. Way back then. No, one of the things that we do as a mobile DJ, we get there at least an hour early to set up all the equipment. I want to be there before the first person walks into that venue. If I can get access to the venue before anybody shows up, I want to have it all set up before anybody is in that room. So when they walk in, the first person walks in gets the same the wow factor that you were talking about before, that the last person that walked into the room, wow, has this always been here? Has it always been like this with the up lights and the stage lights and that, you know, great DJ with the booth, you know, mobile booth that's there? But one of the things is that it's usually all me that's doing it. And now, more recently, my wife is joining me. I'm kind of excited about that. You know, she's joining me in the KeysDAN team. But you have your lovely bride that's been helping you out for some time. But still, even so, you got to show up an hour before and then do the show, rock the house, and then it's a good half hour to take everything down. I mean, do you have your own way to set things up, or is Crystal able to set those things up? You know, you providing sound, and this is the point I was trying to make. When you provide the live sound for a band, they can just relax, show up. You got everything. All the microphones are set up. The drum kit is in place. You know, everything is set up to where all they have to do is come out of the green room after meditating or whatever they do and go rock the house. You've taken that burden of setting up the PA for them.
Yeah, I tell you, I can't take full credit. You know, of course, you know, the big man upstairs gets all the credit, but also I've had a lot of help. You know, you've mentioned Crystal. She has been a driving force, you know, to really bring everything to where we are right now and help us where we're going. But also, like, when we get into live sound, I had a very good friend of mine. He he played for DOA. He was actually one of the founding members of DOA. He had transferred down from New York City down here to little old Russellville, so you can imagine. And he offered me insight and actually helped me with my first line gig and showed me how to ring out folks and really bring in the mix. And there's a lot to it. But I tell you, with the bands that we've mixed so far, they just turn around. They're like, this is the best we've ever sounded. And it's like it's like a dream.
Well, I'm always impressed. I have made myself a 100-foot snake, I guess is the term, where you can have 4, 6, 8 XLRs already set up to where you can have a control base in front of the stage, the optimal place to listen to it. I know that sometimes they put put them onto the side of the stage, so every once in a while, as the controller, you have to walk out to the front, make sure that the sound is perfect. But if you can already set up, somewhere inconspicuous, the crowd can still be in front of you, but you can run your wires to the stage and set up that way. That is optimal. I mean, I'm always impressed. As a karaoke jack, as a DJ, I got my little 8-channel, 16-channel mixing board that sits to the side of my Pioneers. I run everything, all the sound through that. But as a live sound guy, do you have one of these 32, 64-channel beasts? What kind of equipment are you using there?
Right now we're running a 100-foot stage snake with 24 inputs and then monitor outputs and then mains. And I tell you what, it makes the stage so much cleaner. Plus you can run that back, and just like you said, you get in the sweet spot of the crowd. And like at our last gig, we had people hanging out with us, jamming, and they're just looking, and they're like, you guys are controlling all this? It's like you're part of the party. And honestly, man, it made me feel like I was a teenager again. I was jumping around. The client was watching me and like, okay, we have some more gigs for you, so we're going to need your services.
Yeah, you think about it on a smaller scale in your own personal living room. Most people some people will set up a surround sound. You'll have the center speaker, you'll have the side speakers, you have the speakers behind you. You want to get that sound, to that person that is sitting on that couch in the front and center. They got the sweet spot. But the job for you is to make sure that sweet spot has angles. And I know you were saying that you use that Bose equipment for your own personal stuff because it has that nice wide angle. Like I said, I stepped up to the QSC 12.2s, and I did see the difference between the 12s and the 12.2s. Powered speakers, lots of bells and whistles on the back, and they add that sound with 2 speakers. Makes it sound like huge for most parties. And then I have all those. I have the Mackie still and the EVs, but you have, all these speakers to fill out the sound. It's the right equipment for the job. And you've been building on that since at least 2017 and probably before that.
Yeah, that's correct. Right now what we're running is the Bose L1 Model 2 portable line array system. It's what these column array systems are designed on. And you'll see every manufacturer has ones like the Maui Goes, whether it's the 50, the 30, or whatever. And it's the same concept. It's light, it's portable, and the sound distribution on these things is amazing. Because typically with am I getting too techie?
No, get in there, man.
No, we're cool.
I want people to look all this stuff up and see that you're getting the best of the best of the best when you hire out Alpha One.
Represent. Yeah, well, with the standard loudspeaker, we started with EV cabs with dual 18s and a horn on the top. You're looking at approximately 55 degrees of dispersion for sound. So you'll actually develop a hot spot on the dance floor, and then you'll have lesser sound to the area, and that opens up conversation areas. Well, with portable line array systems, especially the one from Bose, I'm not sponsored by them, but hey, hook a brother up. you're looking at a 180-degree wave that's 7 feet high that disperses completely through the room, crystal clear. Now, a lot of old school heads will say, well, you've just eliminated your conversation area. And to a point, they're correct. But I disagree, because a big part of us is we provide ambiance. We don't just make your ears bleed, right?
Right.
And so what we do is we set the volume levels, and I have Crystal go out. She's my ears in the field, and she'll go out all over the venue and make sure that people can talk. Because like with these bows, you can be sitting 2 inches from the front of the speaker, and you can hear yourself just as clear as if you were out in the crowd. And you can hear the music the same way. So it's not about wattage or volume. It's about creating the atmosphere and the ambiance. Yeah, sure, we turn them up. But I tell you, even at home, I haven't had them past 35%.
Very good. Well, I mean, you're talking about live sound. I've been doing karaoke shows ever since I got here to Arkansas from Miami. You know, you talk about he's from DOA, came from New York City to Russellville. I'm from Miami, came to Russellville. You're from Chicago, came to Russellville. So, you know, once we get to a certain age, hey, coming to Russellville, coming to the Central Arkansas area, it's nice to kind of, it's not necessarily slowing down, but it's different. You know, everybody needs entertainment everywhere. But what I was going to get at was, providing live sound is what I've been doing on Friday nights, doing the karaoke shows. And people often ask me, man, how do you get it to where it sounds so good? You know, I feel like a rock star when it's on stage. You have everything, you know, monitors pointed up at the stage, makes the person who's singing a karaoke song feel like they're rock stars. But because I know it's a bar, I still want them to be able to speak, and I want the bartender to be able to talk to their patrons. And even there's a pool tournament going on the other side. This is the Rab on Friday nights in Conway. That people go, man,
nice plug.
You keep it so powerful right here, but we could still play pool over there. We could still have a conversation over here and enjoy ourselves. How do you do it? How do you do it?
That's the essential part of the monitor mix. Man, it all comes down to, you know, how you lay out your stage and what you mix first. And, you know, what Frankie taught me, Frankie Matra, I'll say his name. He has a stage layout. He starts from left to right, and he starts with the vocals first. Because you don't have somebody back there noodling around on an amp and you crank the amp way up, and then you got to boost the vocals so they come over, and then you're working with feedback issues. And a key element is having a conversation right from the beginning. Because when you're doing vocals first, what you're doing is you're establishing communication, and you're showing them that they're important. Mm-hmm. And right then, they're looking like, hey, that's different. It almost flips the script, right? Call coming in. Are we there?
Yeah, I lost you when you said flip the script.
Yeah, so when you flip the script and you do vocals first, that shows them that, hey, we value communication. And when you're talking about a monitor mix for each artist going from left to right across the stage, instead of saying, just tell me when it's good, say, give me a thumbs up when it feels right.
Yeah, you know when it feels right. The air in your lungs, you feel it in your bones. It's not too loud, but it's just right. It's that Goldilocks right there. You know, not too loud, not too soft, just right.
Yeah, you're getting that good vibe on the stage, and it comes through the performance.
Well, I remember when I was first starting out back in the 80s in college, even like just after high school into college, I was doing live sound for all the events in my little fraternity. And my fraternity sucked so bad it didn't even have Greek letters. It was called F Troop at Broward College. But hey, whatever, you know, but I was the guy that had the PA system. So whenever some live musicians came through, they would often ask, hey, do you have your own PA there? So all we have to do is set up and plug in. Well, I was the guy had the PA, so I was able to do what you are doing on a larger scale right now. Back then on a smaller scale, because we would always use, our cafeteria area, the rec room, whatever space that we could use. But I remember there was a battle of the musicians. If I was talking to the drummer, he'd want me to turn the drums up. If I was talking to guitarists, turn the guitars up. If I was talking to the bassist, turn the bass up. The vocalist, guess what he wanted? Turn it up. Do you ever run into that?
Well, that's why you start with vocals first, because you get the lead vocalist, you get them tuned in just the way they feel good, and then you're going on to lead guitar. If their amp's too loud, guess what? The sound guy doesn't have to tell them. The lead vocalist is going to turn them around and say, hey, you need to turn that down a little bit.
That's one thing we never want to hear is turn it down.
Yeah, turn it up, man.
No, don't ever say turn it down. No, and that's why we ride the volumes, especially you were talking about the weddings, you're talking about all the events that you do. If it's too loud, you don't want to start way up here. You don't want to start at 11. You want to start at 1 or 2, somewhere, sometimes even 0.5, because as people are walking in, there are, the cocktail hours, the getting to know you, they're just coming into the ceremony. You don't want to blast them out with some hip hop music. You want to have some nice love songs. Keep it light, so people can talk. There's plenty of time for dancing at the end, and that comes down to all that planning. But your corporate events, they all run the same. Now you're going to have to do, I've been doing all my stuff Fridays and Saturdays and some Sundays, but now you're opened up to where you could do an event Monday through anytime. So that means you could do a day event if you want. If somebody needs some PA system for one of their employee meetings, Alpha One, right? You could be there.
Represent.
Yeah, so you're putting yourself out there. And I know we told your life story pretty much on the last one. I want you to look that up. Jerry Jarvis, Alpha One Entertainment, on the What Makes You Famous podcast. You'll find out where he's been and where he's from. But now we're talking about where he's at, man. What are you open to? You got the weddings. You got the different events. Are you going to open yourself up to recording people? I know I've dabbled in recording live sound. Like if a local artist just wants to make a demo tape, you have that ability.
Yeah, we definitely have the capability, and actually I did that in the late 90s, early 2000s when I was living in Boston. But I don't know. Right now, we're going more towards bringing people together in the, that's really why we do what we do. And I say we, like you and I and other folks that we know, we get into the passion of it, and the money just comes. And sometimes it's, feast and famine, but really it's about the experiences. And when you have a client or one of their guests and they come up, we may have discussed this before, I call it the nod, because, they're a little nervous and they come up to you and they kind of start off with this and they're like, thank you. Because you just by that look, that they had an experience. And they weren't planning on it, and you took them on a journey. And that, to me, that's everything, man.
Yeah, and people, they don't know. All right, I'm going to give you a little secret. When you're at that event, you're putting your all into that event. But that event also becomes your calling card for the next event, because somebody there at that event might have something else going on. Their kid's bar mitzvah. I haven't done a bar mitzvah since I was in Miami. Where are my Jews at? Where are my Jews? Come on. No, but their daughter's getting married. Their son is having a birthday, one of those milestone birthdays, 25, 30. Hey, I got a first birthday. You never know who's going to be at that event. And at the end of the night, people are going to ask you for your card. They're going to shake your hand. May I give you a hug? Yes, please. All these accolations. I feel like every year, should I quit this? Am I getting too old? But then I do an event. I do a school dance, especially with the kids, and I rock the house, and they're all high-fiving me on the way out the door, and I'm like, okay, I guess I can keep going. I mean, doesn't that make you feel good, Jerry?
Yeah. Yeah, it does, man. And like I said, that's what it's all about. You know, when you've made somebody's day, or you've made their, you know, their event go well, really, like even with the school dances, you know, years later, you know, those young folks, they're going to be thinking, hey, we're getting married. I remember that DJ, KeysDAN. That's the guy.
Yeah.
You know, or when their friends are getting married, you rock the place. The next thing you know, you have 4, 5, 6 different gigs. Word of mouth has been our best advertising. We've tried everything. You know, we put stuff in the paper. We put stuff online. We've spent thousands. Honestly, the best payoff, word of mouth.
Yeah. I did advertise with a lot of those places. We talked about the American DJ Association, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, I had my name on a lot of different places. I think I still have my name on some of these wedding knots and things like that. And so, but the best thing is the word of mouth. And the nice thing about this conversation, you and me talking, you know, 2 DJs that could be in conflict with each other, I wanted to show that we shouldn't be stepping on each other. I can't do every event myself. You can't do every event yourself. September, June, those are pretty busy months for DJs, for entertainment, for brides in particular. And, you know, then in November, December, people want their Christmas parties, holiday parties, for employee appreciation all through the year. And if I get an event and I'm booked on September 23rd, well, and I'm going to say, let me give you Jerry Jarvis's at Alpha One Entertainment's number, because I know he's going to do a good job for you. I know he's going to do a good job for you. And knowing each other, you know, I'm glad that hey, don't step on each other. I know there's a good group of guys in Little Rock that I deal with, in Conway, Arkansas, that I deal with, and I'm so happy that this group of DJs, this community, it becomes a community. Like I had some people in South Florida, and I'm glad that it extended to being here in Central Arkansas as well. Because, you know, I came here, I started my whole life over again. And just like you came and you took a chance on Russellville. You came and you landed in Little Rock and had a feeling of, I think I'm home. You know? And the rest is history. And that was what, 2007? Something like that? 5. Yeah.
That was 18 years ago, man.
18 years, and you're just getting better and better. All right, my man. Well, I mean, we've taken a little bit of time. We've talked a little bit about where Alpha One Entertainment is going right now. How do people get a hold of you? And give some shout-outs to people that have helped you along the way. I know you gave one to the DOA guy. You could call him out again.
Frankie Mantra, my good friend, my brother. Represent, dude. But Crystal Jarvis, for sure. She's my wife, my muse, my savior. I tell you, man, I wouldn't be here without her. She's everything. And then, of course, my children. You know, they bust your chops a little bit, but it keeps you straight. But then, of course, you know, all my friends, and I consider them family. I'm sure you do as well. And our clients. I mean, we keep contact with our clients. We watch them grow from newlyweds to parents and then onward, you know, and it's so surreal because you watch them over decades, and it's really something. And some of them, you know, you just click. So, and of course, all of it goes to the big man upstairs. I mean, without him, we wouldn't be here, and it wouldn't be a point, you know.
Man, it's so cool when you go to some weddings and then you go to 3, 4, and 5 and 6 weddings down the line, and it's the same people because you've been doing parties for their families for years, and you do their corporate events. One of them works at the bank, and you want to do that event, and then the other one's a teacher at school, so there you're at the school dance. It flows. It just keeps going. I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's how we got hooked up with the Johnson County Fair. We had one of our couples, and they're like, hey, can you do this? And the first year, we're like, we really don't do that kind of stuff. And then they kept pushing, and like next year I was like, okay, well, I don't know, but I'll try. And you know how you have that healthy sense of fear, that little nervousness is like,
Yeah. I mean, those events that you can either do them for 100 people or 100,000 people. My biggest event that I've done that I provided the sound for, 70,000 people were listening to my music at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Loved it. Oh my goodness. You know, and you hear all those people just roaring and dancing, and they're jamming to the music that you're playing. And here you are, you're getting into live concerts, and between bands, they're probably going to want you to play music between. So you'll play not just the electric slide or what have you. You'll play some cool music that goes with the vibe. You'll read the group, read the crowd. Yeah, and they'll be jamming to Jerry Jarvis, Alpha One Entertainment. Hey, man, once again, how do they get a hold of you? I'm going to put the links to your various things in the show notes, but what links do you want me to put down there?
okay, you can hit us up on our social media links. We're Facebook, Instagram. We do have our website, alpha1dj.com. And you can call me direct. You can text me. And hey, come out to one of my gigs. Talk to me in person.
Yeah. Do you have any public gigs that are available at this time, or you're still working on some stuff?
Well, we'll actually be out doing the Lightning on Ludwig out there in Johnson County. This is a fundraising event for the Johnson County Dive Team. These are all the first responders, the guys that go out there and save people from water rescue and that. We've been doing that. This will be the third or fourth year in a row. It's pretty awesome. If you like speedboats, these guys are awesome, and they're really solid people. And the cool thing is you can get down there in the pits, and they'll show you everything about it, and they'll try to get you in the boat too.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, man. I was on the wet team back in the 90s in Key Largo at the fire department. So, yeah, I was on the dive team. I can appreciate that, man. Search and rescue, man. Saving lives. That's beautiful. And you get to be a part of that, man, and help those people out. Help them to raise some funds. A lot of people don't know, man. Volunteer fire department, sometimes they don't get the funding that they need from the city or the state that they're working, or the county that they're working in. They need a little extra help. And that's what you're going to be helping to do, is to raise that money. Do you have a date on that one, or no?
We're looking at the middle of May. I believe they're going to start their time trials May 16th. And they have teams. I mean, this is a national thing. So you have guys coming in from all across the country, and they'll be running through the weekend. We'll also be doing Johnson County Fair at the end of summer. And we may be participating in the Clarksville Peach Festival in late July.
Well, I mean, anybody like me knows it's hard to keep the website up to date. I mean, you have your basic information on your website, but follow you on your social media, your Instagram and your Facebook, Alpha One Entertainment. And let's see, Alpha One Entertainment is the Facebook, and Alpha One Entertainment DJ is the Instagram. And whatever events that you're doing that are public, I'm sure you'll post it up there, or the lovely Crystal will post it up for you, because women are smarter than we are. They are, man. Without my wife, I'd have no brain. She's my full brain. I'd say I have half a brain. She's my full brain. She keeps me straight. It's good that we have that. How are the Kung Fu fighters, the MMAs? Are they going to the octagon yet?
Oh, they're awesome. My daughter took a punch right to the nose twice. Well, she took a punch and she took a kick. Didn't bleed, and she said it didn't hurt, but it cracked. I think we're raising warriors over here, dude.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have tough kids, man. They can take care of themselves. We're raising them, and then they go out into the world, and we know that they can take care of themselves. That's beautiful, man. All right. Well, let's wind this thing down. I usually finish these things off with last words for the people. You gave some good last words last time. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Jerry Jarvis, Alpha One Entertainment, give the last words for the people.
I'll tell you from personal experience, when you feel those butterflies in your stomach, that's how you know you're on the right path. And something that I'm kind of toying around with, when you feel those, let's go out and play.
Well, there you have it, party people. Jerry Jarvis, Alpha One Entertainment. What a cool dude. Hey, if you can't get a hold of me, get a hold of him. And if you can't get a hold of him, get a hold of me. We're working together. No, but that man's got a good setup. And, you know, just like me, if you make $1, 99 cents of that dollar is going right back into the business. You're going to get new speakers, new microphones, new mixing board, new wires, new cables, toys, lights, you know, stuff to, I mean, just last week, my lovely wife came to one of my gigs, a grand opening for the Family Dollar, and and I did balloon animals, and she was on the 1s and 2s, but I had to buy those balloon animals before we did the gig. So yeah, all that money goes right back into the gig. So yeah, it's a struggle, man. But hey, it's what we do. The entertainment business, the work's not steady, but the money can be good, but the work's not steady. It's a hustle. And Jerry Jarvis, Alpha One Entertainment, you're betting on yourself. It's a hard bet. You know, you're giving up a day job that probably affords you some insurance, you know, steady money. Maybe it's not great money, but it's steady. But you're doing it. You're living the dream. And if this is something that you and your family have come together to do, nothing but the best. I wish nothing but the best for you. Jerry Jarvis, always good to talk to you. Thanks for being a part of the What Makes You Famous podcast. I look forward to talking to you again real soon. Now, if you, yes, I'm turning my attention to you, my loyal listener. If you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.